Welcome back to the Sound for More channel. It's Leo speaking. Today I have the pleasure to introduce you to Sliver from Alexander Matheu. Before I continue, I would like to remind my viewers to subscribe as it helps with growing the channel. Thank you very much. Additionally, if you would like to participate in the giveaway and have a chance to win a copy of this fantastic app, please do follow the instruction contained in the video description. Thank you again. Okay, so what is Sliver? Well, it's an app which allows you to create soundscape or very interesting sonic textures, really. So, first of all, it's not a UV-free. It's one of those app which I call a little bit of a classic, and you can still do amazing things with it, and I hope in the future actually it gain an updated version to a UV-free so that we can use it inside AUM or another host like Logic Pro. Okay, so let's kick off. Let's start at the top here. You have two dots. If you click, you can move within one page to the next. Okay, you have 4 channels here, which are represented by different colors. So you see the green, blue, red, and yellow here. Now you can load up here, for example, a preset from the factory one. And of course, you can see here that you can edit via email, so you can send something by email. You can use audio copy, and therefore you can also do audio paste. You can share preset using audio share, so you can do audio share import and export as well. And as you scroll down, you will find also some recording which I have done, so therefore under the user sounds folder, because indeed you can use the app also to record from the microphone, or you can also use it to sample again itself. So I have loaded now the first preset. You can see here it says Star Crater, right? So at the moment up here it says stop. So if I click on it, it will stop the playing. But of course nothing was playing because I have not activated any of the channel or put any of the clip or sliver against the waveform that you see here in the middle. You also see at the bottom here some effects. You can change the cutoff frequency, resonance, apply the reverb by amount again. You can also change the tuning as well here, and then you can act on saturation and beat crush as well as effects. At the top here, you can apply delay amount, and therefore you can configure the timing and the feedback, of course. And then for each of the channel, you can pan left and right between the stereo channel. You can adjust the volume, and you can click on the X to remove that corresponding clip from the waveform. So let me show you. If I click here somewhere on the waveform, it will start to play within that particular loop or clip, which is defined inside the waveform. Now I have turned down the volume to 0 for this first channel, but if I click again, you will see we'll go to the next one, which is the blue one. Then if I click again, it will go to the red one. And if I click again, it will go to the yellow one. Okay, so if I click on the X here, I'm going to remove each one of them, okay? And of course, then I can bring back the volume up for each corresponding channel. Okay, so let's try again. You can click on stop up here, and of course the playing stop. Now, if you click on one of those clips, you moving in down, you change the width, and then if you move them, up and down, you change the width, and of course if you move them up outside the waveform, you also remove them, like so. Okay, so remember that also the insertion of clips or sliver works in a cycle as I explained a moment ago. It goes through the color cycle. Now let me show you that I move down vertically and I will change the width of the corresponding clip. And of course, you can also move them left and right. Okay, so, and that is how you start to create your sound texture, okay? Now, for each of the channel, you can adjust the frequency, of course, and the cutoff frequency, and you can adjust also the size in terms of a multiplier. So let's try. And you can hear when the frequency is quite low, you don't hear any sound, of course. And then if I move up, it acts like a multiplier, which is great for creating different effects. Now at the bottom here, you can apply low pass filter and the reverb, changing the tuning, and as I mentioned a moment ago, apply saturation and bit crush. So let's try. Of course, be careful with the saturation because it will clip. And I hope you heard on the application of the reverb, which works wonderfully. Now, you can change the pan, as I mentioned earlier on, and you can also start adding some delay. So let's try to add some delay amount, changing the time in the feedback as well. And you can hear that the sound continue after I stopped because, of course, I had some delay amount applied and I had good enough feedback. Now I have turned it down. Now let me show you what else you can do on this screen because it's quite amazing. Now let's click on up here, and as you know, you can move around like so, right? So let's click play again. As you can see, I moved around, but nothing has happened. And actually, let me add the others. But now I click on right here, and now I'm going to move this circle here on channel 3. Of course, you need to play before the write happens, but as soon as you let go the circle here, the dot, of course, it will repeat the gesture that you played, and therefore it records the gestures. And this is great because it doesn't work only on the channels in terms of changing the frequency and the size, but it can record changes here on the effect and also the position of the clips here. So let me show you. I leave right on and I click play. So that's amazing. Now, if you want to remove them, click on clear here and click on the corresponding effect or channel, and you will reset them. Okay. Now, it works also on the position here of the clip. So let me show you. Write and play. And it works also on changing size of the clips, which is even better. Of course, you can import your waveform as well, which is fantastic, and therefore you can use other programs to continue your sound creation. Now, let's go to the next page. Here you have additional setting. You have a master level here, you're panning left and right. You can enable a keyboard here to change the tuning. So, and let's click play first. Okay, perfect. So hopefully you heard that changing. Now, there is also a possibility to apply modulation here, for which you can set the depth here as well. Remember, if the depth is 0, you will not hear much. And of course, you can hold as well. Now, this is quite interesting. In the latest edition, it was added the ADSR here. If you click here, you can adjust your ADSR, which works by MIDI as well. But here you can add dynamic. So let me explain. So if I activate this, you will see the dynamic and the circle here start to bounce. Now, if I click where it says channel 1 now, I can adjust the elasticity, the friction, the resistance, what is the gravity, X and Y in terms of how fast it moves horizontally or vertically, and the magnitude as well. And I can do that for all the channels, but also for the effect, the low pass filter, or for the tuning as well. And again, I can adjust correspondingly. So if I remove the keyboard, there you are. You see changes here on the tuning and also on the filter itself, which, well, pretty amazing, really. You can enable the microphone as an input, and you can disable the output here in terms of recording. And you hit here at where it says rack for recording. You can record your microphone and, of course, the output as well if it is enabled of Sliver. You can change the MIDI channel here if you want to use an external keyboard, for example. You can adjust the BPM here. You can go back to presets. You can do MIDI learn as well. And then you have adjustment here for settings. You can adjust in the micro fading between clips, the buffer time. If you start to hear some crackling noise, then you can enable background audio, the ADSR via MIDI, and then you can disable the page swipe. Okay, so and let's click up here. Let's click play again. And of course, you can create some very interesting effect, right? So let me show you. I should say also that if you press here on Init, you will reset, okay? But of course, you still have to turn off some of the dynamics, okay? Perfect. Now, let's go back to the other page. Let's remove all the other channel apart from the green one. Let's listen. So as you can see, you can have a lot of fun. And of course, remember, you can save your preset, you can export using audio share, and therefore you can bring the output, for example, inside the AUM and then continue the journey there, for example, with another AUV3 app. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial and demonstration. I hope also that Alexander continued the development and perhaps upgrade it to be an AUV3 compliant app. Thank you very much. Bye.